The air in the abandoned classroom was thick and still, tasting of dust and forgotten things. Moonlight, weak and diluted by grimy windows, barely illuminated the space. It was empty, completely empty, except for one object sitting alone in the middle of the vast, shadowy floor. It was an old school desk, the kind with an iron frame and a built-in wooden chair. A museum piece. Driven by a curiosity that outweighed my unease, I approached. The desktop, a slab of dark wood, was a chaotic tapestry of history. Names were carved deep into its surface, some clumsy, some elegant, all whispering of other lives. Accompanying them were dates, stretching back decades. My finger traced the grooves as I read them aloud in a whisper. Thomas, 1938. Eleanor, 1944. Robert, 1951. The most recent, the deepest, as if to mark the end of an era, read M. Henderson, 1952. The drawer slid open with a screech that ripped the silence. Inside, nothing but a small, powdery piece of white chalk. A single, untouched stick. I picked it up, its dryness familiar yet unsettling in this context. I placed it on the desk slate insert, the dark gray surface a stark contrast to the pale wood. The chalk looked purposeful there, waiting. Feeling a chill that had nothing to do with the temperature, I left the room, closing the heavy door behind me with a final, echoing thud. I returned the next morning, the daylight doing little to warm the room's inherent coldness. The door groaned as I pushed it open. My eyes went immediately to the desk. The chalk was no longer on the slate. It lay on the floorboards a few feet away, broken into two neat pieces. My breath caught. I forced my legs to carry me forward, my heart beginning a hard, frantic drum against my ribs. I looked down at the desk slate top. The old carvings were still there, frozen in time. But now, written in fresh, stark white, deliberate lines of chalk, was a new message. The script was neat, precise, and utterly alien. It read, "New student. Your name is clearly written here. Detention. Tonight." A violent shiver racked my body. I hadn't written it. No one else had been here. The dust on the floor was undisturbed except for my own footprints from the previous night. The name written was undeniably, intimately mine. Not a nickname, not a common misspelling, but my full name, the way it appears on official documents. The silence in the room was no longer empty. It was a listening silence, a waiting silence, pressed in from the corners, heavy and intelligent. Detention. Tonight. The words echoed in my head, meaningless and yet freighted with a terrible, specific threat. What did detention mean in a school that had been empty for over 70 years? Who was the teacher? And what happened to students who didn't show up? The broken chalk on the floor seemed like a statement. Promise. The desk was no longer a relic. It was an altar, and I had been unwillingly inscribed upon it. The carved names from 1938, 1944, 1952, were they previous students? What had their detention entailed? Now, the hours until nightfall stretch before me, each minute dripping with dread. I sit in my modern, well-lit apartment, but all I can see is that dark slate and the glowing white letters. The instruction is clear. The invitation is given. And a part of me, a cold, terrified part buried deep, already knows that when darkness falls, I will go back. Because some rules, even unwritten ones from a phantom classroom, feel too dangerous to break. The bell has sounded, and the lesson is about to begin.